Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode, week 10 of Destiny Horizon. 10 weeks means 40 episodes, means a lot of hours. We'll just leave it at that. 160 hours we've been playing, guys, which is excellent. And I want to say thank you to my players, Azel, Brian, Ethan, and of course Jonathan, who, even though he is new, we miss his presence as he got caught late in work, and he will be joining us for part 2, 3, maybe even 4. He's going to try to hurry, and he's really upset. So I won't rag on him for that. But I do think it's bullshit, you son of a bitch, that you could withstand tornadoes and still game, but in work comes... Anyway, so I'm not going to give him a hard time. You know, he's new. He plays a pancake face Celestin. I mean, how useful are they anyway? So here we go. We're going to move on. And let's start doing our introductions and greetings. Jonathan, how you doing today? Oh, I forgot already. Ethan, how's it going?
What's up? It's going good.
You have brought your computer back from the dead, I hear.
Yeah, the hard drive. Thanks to you for doing everything that you could to fix it, but it was a physical problem. The hard drive was overheating and then writing corrupted data onto the drive, and yeah, so I just got a new hard drive and an SSD. It's up and running. I was playing some Rising Storm Vietnam 2. Rising Storm
now,
2
I have
Vietnam
a question.
Day.
Now that you have a new hard drive, did you notice your performance improve when you game?
Yes, I did. It's working 10 times better.
Wait till I get my hands on it and I allocate more virtual memory, and now that you have an SSD, oh my god, you're going to love it.
Yes.
I will admit, last week, we could not play Dust to Dust. In fact, Ethan and I, we're here for long haul. 9.5 hours of gaming. Here we go. Because his computer died on him an hour before the game. And all night I was like, live! Live, damn you! But no, it wasn't. At 4 o'clock in the morning, my time, we decided to pull the plug and announce the time of death. But thank you, Ethan. I'm super excited. Now, Ito's Star is based off of a character from Hells on Wheels, which I love that idea. And you finished the Hells on Wheels series. Your thoughts?
I love the entire series. I did feel like the ending was kind of rushed. In a sense of just kind of like, let's wrap everything up, let's wrap all these stories up and everything. But overall, the acting, the setting, everything was just amazing, and I'm probably gonna watch it again sometime because it's just fantastic. I suggest everybody watch it if they get the chance.
Now, one of the things that I'm working on that I want to do and create is an app that will allow everyone to join what I'm going to call the movie theater, right? And then we can watch stream television together as long as we all have an account to it. How rad would it be to actually watch, like, oh, have you seen Hells on Wheels, Azel? Dude, join Ethan and I. We'll get some beers and we'll watch it together online. Like, there's nothing like that. Nothing.
Yeah.
Why? Instead, the three of us can watch it together and hit play, but then I'm laughing, and Azel goes, what? And I'm like, oh, you didn't see that? And then he's like, no. And then it happens on his screen. He's like, ha, ha, ha. That's stupid. But I think it would be great if everybody could get in a group and watch it. Like, Netflix could go, how many people do you want in this party? I want 4. Netflix could say 3 out of 4 people join, and then watch it that way. That would be amazing. Netflix, looking at you. Well, thank you very much, Ethan, for your introduction. I'm very excited to see Eidos. I love the idea of a cowboy in a Star Wars world. I felt that way with the Gunslinger when you watched the trailers to Old Republic, but then when you played Old Republic, it didn't pan out that way. He didn't seem like a cowboy.
Not at all.
No, not at all. But, you know, I almost now want to see the Crocodile Dundee archetype in one of my games. I would love to see that. That would be hilarious.
Just let me know, and I will make that character.
You call that a knife, and then he whips out a vibroblade. This is a knife. Shing! Like, that would be hilarious. But believable. Now we just have to decide what race he would be. So, Azel, A lot of
Yes,
weight on
sir.
your shoulders, Grikaza. I seem to recall in the last episode, you left... How do I put this? The Destiny Horizons primary objective behind. The whole reason, the thing that started this entire campaign off, is now gone. And as Brian lovingly put, you made a boo-boo. And now the Star's End has turned heel and is racing back to the Destiny Horizon, hoping to intercept the Imperial presence there.
To start off, it would not be the first time I've made the colossal boo-boo. But yeah, you could say that I have a lot of weight on my shoulders right now.
Now,
and
let's get into that even further. I don't think it's necessarily a colossal boo-boo. I think it's really interesting to see a Wookiee be put in this position because I don't think they're used to this kind of role as a leader. And I'm not saying that they're dumb, but you know, usually Wookiee chieftains just want to rule over other Wookiees.
Yeah, usually leadership is more confined to the villages and the cities in Kashyyyk, whereas Wookiees are not necessarily expected to be leaders outside of Kashyyyk.
Well, I would definitely like to
recent history
see
of slavery.
I love the growth because in the last episode you had your breakdown about Reed, but then you saw the crew pull together and make you the memorial that you also left behind, you heartless bastard. And also I love the growth that Grikaza has had as a character since the first episode. But it's really interesting because in the first episode he was all soldier, all business, and then he kind of strayed away from that as things weighed down on him, and now he's having to rehone that all soldier, all business mentality. And I'm going to love to see where it goes. You are going to be one scary motherfucker when you get shit figured out.
Yeah, let's just hope it's sooner rather than later.
Yeah. You've been playing Fallout 4, I saw. Do you have all the expansions?
I do. But basically recently I was just trying to figure out how I want to build up Sanctuary and all the... Basically, I'm trying to work my way down from Sanctuary to the castle and then move south from there.
Right.
And just build giant-ass settlements.
Are you willing to sell a child to get your hands on an Oculus Rift when Fallout VR comes out?
Not really.
I am. I'll sell 2. I have to. Anybody want to buy them, I'll sell them. Then I'll buy it with the cash. I'm excited because I'm not going to go to a gym. I know for a fact that playing Fallout in a VR environment, especially since they say that they're going to make it to where you have to duck down to take cover or duck down to grab items that are underneath the shelving unit. Oh man, I'm going to have so much fun with that, and I'm going to be like ripped after I'm done playing Fallout 4. So
I feel like if I get that, a lot of stuff's just going to be broken in my room by the end of the week.
Oh, so your room will look like Fallout. Like it's
yeah, so I'm
like
kind of
post by holes in the wall, rad roaches.
Yeah, it'll kind of play the part.
Okay, all right.
But just trying to use the headset and actually move.
I gotta send out some shout outs to Brian because he sent this picture of these delicious looking fries, like steak fries with a fried egg on top. And everybody was like, ooh, and it's this huge, like this restaurant gives you a huge paper plate full of it. And he sends it to me when I am under a desk wiring somebody's network in a house that has no air conditioning, and it's an old woman, so it stinks, and it's 90 degrees outside, when in Washington we're used to 70-degree summers. And I
can't believe it's that hot up there.
I finally had to go, Brian! No food in the summer. I don't know why, but in the summertime, I have the hardest time eating on a regular. Like, to me, when
my dad was
outside,
like that, too. It's you're not hungry. You don't have an appetite. It's better when it's cooler, or at least in the morning. But in the heat of the day, it's like, forget it. You know.
I think my other problem is when it's hot outside, I hide. So I'm not physically active. I'm like a rad roach. I'm like...
Yeah, I know.
By the way, I've got a really funny fucking video that I'm going to post up now that you just reminded me of rad roaches that I have to show Azelle. I think I showed Ethan.
Yeah.
I was in Sanctuary and I was running around. I'm like, okay, there's a rad roach that pops out here, and it got in the wastebasket, and the wastebasket was chasing me. Like, he was wearing the waste. I couldn't kill it. I was like, the bullets were bouncing off the wastebasket. It came out of the house and chased me down the street, and I'm like, no, why? And then finally he hit a pothole, and the wastebasket came off, and I'm like, you don't have your armor now, do you? So with that in mind, rad roaches and wastebaskets, let's get to playing, shall we? I try to keep these pretty short, 10-minute introductions. Thank you all very much for participating. The Tides of Change are in. And Ashes to Ashes chose the tide change for all of you. Sirius and Viatar tied. And Sirius's tide change is that, and it's actually a good one. Did you guys go to the Facebook?
Yes.
What was his tide change? Come on. Go.
Was
no, not Viatar's. I'm talking about Sirius's, the good one.
Sirius's was that we figure out Valerie figures out
the science to the breach drive.
Yep, so it doesn't
she figures out how to modify the breach drive you guys have to operate like a slipstream drive that they have in wild space without punching giant holes in the fabric of time-space.
Yes.
Next up, and it was very specifically said, hang on.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, I'm trying to respond to it. I don't think he understood. So basically, what happened was, it's an epiphany. So it's not going to be something that's going to be long, like, montage. It's going to be you're staring at the pictures and then, and I will go ahead and tell you when that is, Valerie. Viatar's tide change was that Petrov is actually the evil villain robot Dent from Ashes to Ashes and Dust to Dust. So that is now a thing.
They have their own tittles.
Basically.
Ooh.
Or maybe it's a combination of the two.
Oh, God.
Okay, so let's get into this, shall we?
Let's do it.
Title text goes off screen, and the camera pans down to the beacon. And on the beacon, in the streets, people are screaming, people are crying out. The entire ring is on fire as Skype decides to poop out. Awesome, Skype. You are... Well, actually, you're much better than Hangouts, so I won't say anything against you. So the entire city is on fire, and stormtroopers are going around systematically executing every single being that they can get their hands on. And as they're doing this, up in the command center of the beacon, a black armored cyborg is pacing furiously around the room. He had just received a message from Admiral Thrawn after Admiral Thrawn had ripped the jaw open and pulled the tongue from a rebel commando that they had captured. He had ordered that everybody on Beacon is to be terminated. This doesn't sit well with the cyborg. This general has thrived, has converted the Beacon, has gotten the entire city under control. Something has to be done. He kind of coughs a little bit and moves over to a console and starts opening it up, cycling through a lot of the data that he has open. Security cameras, communications. And he goes into the communications array and he types a code that says activate. And he enters this Imperial code and hits send. Meanwhile, on the Destiny horizon, Petrov, who is hiding when he hears all the Imperial commotion out in the hangar, snaps to, and he gets that look in his eyes. He tries to fight the command as he has done before, but when he sees Admiral Thrawn, he cannot fight it any longer. Pulling his broken body off the slab where he was resting, he pulls himself up toward the shrine where the rebellion had left him a pistol in case he wanted to do himself in. He checks the energy cell, crawls over to the opening, and peers out. Just as the sarcophagus is entering a shuttle, the stormtroopers board the shuttle. And as they're filtering out, the Admiral, who still has bloodstains on his white tunic, gives a smirk. Mr. Reed, I wish you were alive to see this. No matter your friends have abandoned your cause, I hope you know that your life was in vain. And he turns on his heels, starts heading for the shuttle, when a pistol goes off. And Petrov is standing there. Take that, you son of a bitch. On the other end, the general just receives a message. Mission accomplished. Orders? Question mark? He types in another Imperial code and then closes the window out. An Imperial cadet walks into the dark room, which is mostly it's a server room, so there's data banks all over the place. There's no windows. It's just all security cameras on several different monitors that he has pulled up. Sir, the pacification fleet has arrived. He turns, narrows his eyes. Good. Commence with the orders. Meanwhile, the beacon, on fire, seen in the distance. Star Destroyers keeping a defensive perimeter around the beacon, along with the damaged Super Star Destroyer. That was Admiral Thrawn's. They're flying bombers into the beacon and start to obliterate buildings, skyscrapers, and just destroy the entire populace. When a shadow crosses over the Super Star Destroyer, a shadow that is much larger than the Super Star Destroyer itself. And before anything else can be seen in the frame, green turbo lasers rain down upon the Star Destroyer, the Super Star Destroyer, blowing up the top, destroying the sides. Star Destroyers turn into a fleet gridlock to try to defend them, but they too are blown away. TIE fighters don't know what to do as they're flying to and fro, trying to figure out what is going on. And then the camera pans over, and that's when we see why there's such confusion. A large axe head of a ship that has just emerged from a portal with a new Imperial fleet is approaching the beacon. Its vast size is escorted by 2 Super Star Destroyers as well as a small fleet of Star Destroyers themselves. The camera pans back down to the beacon. And inside the command or the server room where the cadet is standing, the young officer, as he watches the general pacing back and forth, the general clicks on an image or a monitor to bring up an image from one of the satellites, and it reveals that an Eclipse-class Star Destroyer has emerged from a gate, fully loaded with Star Destroyer escorts. Only these Star Destroyers look slightly different, along with the Eclipse-class Star Destroyer. The general pans over again and hits the communications unit. Admiral? An admiral with a familiar face looks over. Only this admiral is clearly an android. And he says, yes? Admiral August, it is good to see you again. I'm glad that we were able to save your memories before you perished. The admiral blinks. Well, as you said, it was imperative. The breach drive plans that you sent us were spot on. I'm sorry, Dent, was able to do a full scan of the Star's End and hand us the breach drive documents. We're looking for Viatar to find out how to produce it on a large scale. The General nods. There's something else that you should know. We are no longer calling ourselves the Empire. Oh? There's been a change? Well, my friend, it took us quite some time to learn how this breach drive worked. To be honest, over 10 years. The Emperor's dead. But Tarkin reigns. The General almost coughs in his suit as he snaps his neck towards the screen. What? Almost furious. The First Order will put down the rest of your Imperial associates, and then Here, I think, is where the real work will begin. Will you be boarding your new vessel? I am to be spared? The General asks. The Admiral blinks again. Why, yes. Tarkin's made it clear that he is business for you back home. He would like this Destiny Horizon nonsense wiped off the map. Roger. The General nods. The screen goes black. As the bombardment on the beacon is occurring, dropships land from orbit and open, and First Order troops start coming out and blasting every stormtrooper they see. Imperial officers have no idea what's going on. Swoop bikes are trying to intervene, but they just cannot fight back the threat from behind their lines. They're trying to open up comms, but the General has shut off everything. The Imperials will burn just like the populace that they murdered. In the meantime, First Order troops are rallying up the citizens and saving them, getting them on ships, relocating them to different parts of the city, and it is not long in the battle at all until red banners start rolling over the building faces with that hexagon cog of the First Order. And as the camera zooms out to the burning Star Destroyers in orbit, we emerge in slipstream space. And the camera pans in through the cockpit of the Star's End to Eidos, who is staring at the hyperspace streaks in front of him as they make their way back to the Destiny Horizon as fast as they can. Out of character, everybody okay? You guys had some weird faces.
Yeah. Just listening to the story.
Looks like you're constipated. No. All right. Hey, you know what? This is a story of the making of all three campaigns. All of your tide changes has done this to yourselves. So, but the Destiny crew will be happy. Grikaza.
Yes.
You are in engineering. I put you here, but I want you to tell me, why are you in engineering? Clearly you have commandos on board who could do that.
I think I'm in engineering because I kind of want to have a few moments to myself while doing something that I know I'm good at.
Okay.
And to allow myself to keep my mind busy while also having a little bit more of a secluded space to kind of reflect on what's going on and maybe on things I need to do.
Yeah, as you're here, you're just kind of changing fuses that blew when the breach drive went. So you're replacing the fuses. It's menial work, but it is quiet here. The hum of the left engine is just purring away. It's almost like you are so used to that noise, that's what helps you get to sleep at night. Kind of like somebody who has to turn a fan on to hear the ambience. Speaking of fan, for some reason my CPU fan just started going crazy. Sounds like a lawnmower. But you also hear the purring of your gonk centipede in the corner. Gonk, 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 gonky, gonk, 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 as it's charging up. Eidos, why are you on the bridge or in the cockpit with Toonpo?
I'm on the cockpit because while I'm pretty much stuck with these people, they did save me, but to be honest, since Tunpo is kind of an outsider and I'm an outsider, I feel more comfortable being around him.
Well, not only that, he's spent quite some time in wild space. He probably seems like the only person in the crew that has any idea how things work. I I would always attribute it to going to China and being an American and being like, oh, this is all weird and uncomfortable and I have to live here for the next few months. And then finding an American that has already lived there for like 6 months. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Yeah, that makes sense. Are you smoking in the cockpit? I know that we talked,
Yes,
that's kind of like one of the traits that your character does.
Yeah, I'm smoking one of my little mini cigars while whistling of course, this is Star Wars, so it's not Dixieland, but it's a form
Why
of
not?
Dixieland. Well, because I was.
Let's say
here.
that.
But yeah,
Let's say in the part of the galaxy you come from, harmonicas are an instrument.
They just call them something else.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just kind of
Metal
smoking
kazoos.
while. Yeah, playing around on that because I'm kind of bored because hyperspace is very slow compared to what I'm used to.
Right. That does make sense. Yeah. So, what is your characteristics as you're sitting in the bridge?
It's pretty much I'm kind of leaned back in the chair, kind of moving it side to side, smoking, kind of looking nowhere in particular, just around. Well, I'm just kind of whistling Dixie as I smoke a cigarette, kind of seeing what Tunpo's doing.
I know
Just
in the
looking over
lost
at him.
episodes you described yourself as having your boots on the console. Is that something that you're still doing, or are you showing a little more restraint?
No, I'm still doing it because
I liked that image because I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Cool. Valerie, I put
Yes.
you, if you look on the map, which I'm going to go ahead and cross over for everybody. I put you in the room, the bedroom there that has the sanctuary items, like very peaceful, stuff like that. You've got a table that Sirius had at one point used as his captain's desk. And there's a few scientists in the room, and you're just analyzing all the blueprints for the breach drive, trying to figure out how to get it repaired and how to contain the breaches. Because every time you use it, it seems like something seriously messes up. And accompanying you is the Duros. The Duros from Tunpo's squad. And he's acting as an advisor because he's already seen the effects of these types of devices and is just offering insight whenever you guys come up with a theory on how you can do it. He's offering insight and then saying, oh, well, that's not going to work. And you realize that the problem isn't with the breach drive. It's pretty solid design. The problem is with the reactor. It's putting too much juice into the breach drive. It would be like trying to fire a Nerf dart out of a gun with 400 psi when you only need like 15 or 20.
So she's going over. She's putting figures and things into like a pad, and looking at it and seeing how it comes together. And okay, and then like, ooh, wait.
Do you have
We need
something? The Duro says.
It's the reactor. It's the reactor. It's the reactor that's putting out too much energy. It's putting out too much energy, and it's causing everything to just. It's to tear in the drive, and it's messing up it's messing up the space-time continuum. I mean,
Too much.
It's
So
like
if we lower the energy throughput, it won't have that effect.
that, and if we can put something on there to regulate it automatically, so we don't have to do it manually,
I think you
that
might
it
be
will
onto
automatically
something.
kick in.
What is Valerie dressed in right now?
Well, she's still wearing what she was going to wear to that meeting, so it's like, because Star Wars is the land of capes, it's got a black cape on and a red dress and black boots.
Yeah, and I think everybody else is wearing, the clothes that they were wearing on that one planet, so some of the scientists are dressed up because they thought they were going to be able to visit the resort.
Yeah.
So, and that didn't happen. Oh. So, before we go any further, we all know where you are in the ship. Let's roll that destiny. So before we roll, make sure that you sync your sheet with mine. Now, I will be rolling for myself first.
Okay. Tell me, should we hit sync pool with GM now?
There we go. Hang on. Okay, now hit sync pool GM, and it should say 0 and 1.
Yep.
So,
okay,
I need you all to roll your destiny pool. And the more dark side you give me, the happier I will be.
of course.
Well, hopefully not. There you go. Damn.
Oh,
Yes.
I gave you one.
What is this bullshit? Valerie, you gave me two. You gave me 2. Fair enough. I'm going to roll for Toonpo.
Okay.
Rigged.
All right, there.
this game is rigged.
Yeah, I just clicked a button, okay? 4 and 5. This game is bullshit. We're already off to a terrible... Okay, cancel the game. We need to come up next week. Next week on Destiny Horizon. My characters die. All right, so that's fine. I'm not bitter. Yes. You guys are traveling in the Star's End. You know it's going to take you 2 days to get back to the Destiny Horizon.
All right.
So, what do you do? Anybody want to do anything in passing?
Yeah, Valerie is going to be working on this, the concept of something to put on the reactor so we can protect us, sort of like a relativistic shielding.
Oh, excellent.
Sort of a version of that, which is normally what's on a regular ship to prevent this from happening that they've had forever, but they've never had anything that worked on this kind of drive. So this is going to be different because it's got to work with this particular drive, but it's also got to work with the it's also got to work definitely now going through the reactor. So it's
especially since the
tricky.
reactor on the Star's End, from what you can tell, is actually made for star cruisers and not freighters.
Yeah.
It's a fast ship. It's a bottle rocket. All right, so hopefully it's not a bottle rocket, because that would insinuate it blows up at the end. So we're just going to retcon that I said that. And I promised to my YouTube audience, Commander Zoran has been punished, and he will no longer say Jesus Christ when something exciting happens. So, because that is not Star Wars. So, moving on.
Oh, could you say by the gods?
Probably.
Would that be okay or no?
I would think.
I mean, I'm sure they have some kind of.
By the Force would probably
by
be
the Force, yes.
Yeah.
Even better.
I'm sure they have some religion in Star Wars. I just can't put my finger on it.
They got this whole
I'm thinking
thing
like
the
prophet is some short, green, shriveled little ET-looking motherfucker.
Or
no.
the wills. There's the wills and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know. I just know that there's a bunch of people that when they get stabbed, they turn into nothing. All right, so basically what I want you guys to do, for you, Valerie, is I need you to make a mechanics check against 4 purple.
Nice.
Or you could use a knowledge check or a computer's check to make up the math so that someone else can tell you mechanically how it will apply. Your choice.
Let me take a look at my stuff.
Oh, and just for the YouTube audience, this picture is of the... Whoops, that was too much. Of the Star's End running away from TIE fighters. Pew, pew, pew.
Okay, what was the other one? It was computers or...
You could do it computers, right?
Okay, yeah.
Or, if you don't want to do computers, you could do a mechanics check against 4 daunting just to do it yourself. And then if you didn't want to do that, it's computers or any type of knowledge check that you think could justify the math behind figuring this out.
Okay, let me take a look and see what I've got. They're almost all the same. Now,
Indeed.
I'm going to have one of the scientists go and get Grakaza.
There you go.
But I think he can help with this.
They all look at each other. You do it. No, you do it. Last time I talked to him, he yelled at me and threw Tafford at me. It was a while ago. Just go do it.
Hold on. I'm going to go over to the little comm thing on the wall that kind of clicks and hear it. For Kaza, this is Valerie. Can you come over to my quarters where we've got a little situation that we might be able to fix the breach drive and get it to work without it causing any problems. I need your help.
Okay, before you respond,
I'll be right
Kaza,
Oh.
you hear, and you look up and you punch the speaker, and then it comes in clearly. So now you can respond.
Hold on. Oh, okay. Just for the record, I'm lagging out a little bit, so if I don't respond immediately, it might be just everything froze for a second.
I hate that in Skype. Sometimes it'll be like, James, did you say something? And then you'll get my entire sentence in 1 second, and it'll be like...
Yeah, that's kind of what happened after
basically
the part.
The speaker was all garbled, and then you punched it, and then it came through clearly. And now you can
Percussive maintenance, man. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I respond, I'll be right there.
Okay.
And I basically drop the breaker and just kind of stroll out.
Yeah. As you leave, the gonk droid tilts its body quizzicatively... Words! And, you leave, no problem. Feel free to grab your token and move it over to wherever you want to go. All right.
There we go.
There you are. You open the door, and the interns are smiling at you. Hi, Krikaza. And they step out of your way.
Hello. I kind of wave back, just kind of eyeing them
flinch.
quizzically.
Oh, hi. The
I
Duros
just
is
kinda shrug
nodding
and-
at some paperwork on Valerie's desk. Very pleased. Like, he almost has a smile on his face. He's just like, yeah.
So I show him the pad and the figures that I've got and explain to him that it's the problem. I believe strongly that it's the reactor and that we need some kind of relativistic shielding to work on this ship that will prevent that from happening. So I need you to look at this and check over my figures and see if what we have would work. And and if you can, anything that you could suggest that might work with this, and then we can put more information into the computer and put our heads together and hopefully get this thing to work so that we don't have to worry about tearing up space and time.
Krikaza, I'll
Yes,
let
sir.
you role play your response to her, and I want you to describe how you're studying this paperwork, how your character's doing the math, what's flashing through his head. I want to hear everything behind your character's thought process. This will determine your difficulty.
So Gorkaza's kind of looking through and just kind of very skimming through the data pad and looking through it and seeing all the diagrams, all the figures. He's basically making mental notes of how, of all the power outputs, all the numbers, making mental conversions based on what they're suggesting the power output should be. Trying to figure out, maybe should I use a capacitor here, or no, I could just use a regulator here. But basically going through and making just this giant mental diagram of the ship, and then of the reactor, and then of possible fixes for the capacitors, for possible regulatory switches for the power flow, so that way we don't keep on tearing holes in space-time.
Excellent. So why don't you roll me a mechanics check with a blue boost dice for Valerie helping you, and 3 purple instead of 4 purple, because I am a nice guy.
Sweet.
Should I roll
Thank you.
anything?
No, your boost die is what's helping him. That blue
Okay.
dice.
All right. Okay.
Oh, no. We need you to upgrade your side. So
Upgrade the other side, you said?
Yep, upgrade my side, the right side. Do
Okay.
3 purple, and then on the left side, do a blue, and then roll your mechanics check.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
I think something went wrong.
No, it didn't.
Just put that. force die on the end.
Yeah, I checked. I forgot to click on the blank after I reset my sheet. So we'll ignore the black meatball. And you got a failure and 5 advantage. Now, come on, people. 5 advantage to me is a success. In my opinion, it's a success. That's my home rule. If you don't like it, YouTube, I'm sorry. Get fucked. So here's what we're going to do. This is a wash, and I'm going to steal Joshua's rules, which he stole from someone else that I cannot quote, so shame on me. Whenever it's a wash, because it's boring as hell, add a blue die again to your side and add a black die to the other side and re-roll.
So just do the rollover.
Add another blue dice, so you'll have 2 blue dice.
Okay.
Add a black dice to the other side, and then re-roll.
Okay. I cleared it, so it's just 3 purple, 1 upgrade on your side.
3 purple, 1 upgrade, 1 black.
1 black, 2 blue on my side.
Yep. And the mechanics.
Got it. All
Because
right.
I agree with Mr. Joshua Hayes. No results is just silly.
Yep. Can I use the light side here?
You can use the light side whenever you want. I used a dark side.
Well,
There you go. Now I'm putting
Here we
upgrade
go.
on your left side.
yep, just did that.
Let's see it.
Let's try it again. What
What?
the fuck?
Well, it's not
Okay.
a wash per se. It's not a failure or a success.
Okay, could I do this? So Valerie's looking
Hang
at
on.
him do this.
Hang on. No.
Okay. Okay.
There's
okay.
threats. There's threats associated. The threats is that, Grakaza, as you're looking at the reactor core, you realize it is not for a ship of this class. And that trying any of these in practice could, I don't know, punch holes in the time-space continuum, if you're wrong.
So we probably shouldn't try anything just yet because I just realized something. This is the wrong type of reactor for this kind of ship.
Oh.
So if we try any of this, it could work, but it could also fail catastrophically. And maybe it doesn't mean our deaths, but it certainly means we keep messing with timelines.
Just makes more problems. Yeah.
So
Okay.
either we're going to have to alter the reactor, or we're going to have to find a new reactor for this ship.
I say we start with trying to alter it first before we even try to find another one, especially right now. There's got to be now. What about, like I said, with the relativistic shielding? What about trying to put something on there that maybe
Could dampen it.
protects it, could dampen? Yes.
Maybe.
So
but you
like,
still
so
have
like
the power
Valerie's
output issue.
putting she's putting in some things. Okay, now like this, and putting in some figures into like that, and maybe that, and okay, we'll try that, but throw that out.
Yeah, the problem I'm still seeing is that the dampening field might work. It's just we're still dealing with a huge output of power that we can't regulate effectively. The reactor is, at no pun intended, at the core of this issue.
Mm.
It kind of occurs to you, Grakaza, that you haven't really gotten a good look at the reactor since the Star's End came to be under your guys' control. Valerie and Valeria have always been the one flying this ship, and you really haven't had the chance to look at it.
Val, give me an hour. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll keep going over figures and see if I can think of anything else.
By the way, the
If I do,
reactor
I'll-
is that big giant thing in the middle. Number 23.
Okay.
And 15 is the station there that's used, that's the engineering station to monitor it. All right. Meanwhile,
Okay.
up in the cockpit.
23, you said, is a reactor?
Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
big thing in the middle.
Meanwhile, up in
All
the
right.
cockpit, Eidos is sitting there. Tunpo is sleeping. Reclined in the chair. which you're not used to seeing a pilot sleep during this kind of travel. But you kind of don't blame him because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm just gonna, as I'm trying to be nonchalant, I'm kind of just like trying to make sure like the ship doesn't do anything wonky where I have to try to do something because I don't fly ships. I don't like ships. So.
Right. All of a sudden you hear a clang of glass behind you, like a clink. I think clink is a good, not Colonel Clink from Hogan's Heroes, just the noise.
I'll slowly turn around in the chair.
You slowly turn around in the chair, and you see that Jebediah is coming in the room, and he kind of looks at you like you caught him doing something fishy, and he goes, I was trying to surprise you. And he holds up 2 shooter glasses and hands them to you.
I will hold them. I'll grab them from him. What you got up your sleeves?
Nothing up my sleeves, but something in my bottle. Bespin whiskey.
Well, let's start drinking.
Well, don't you want to hear about its vintage before you just pour it down your spout?
I guess.
Says it was made 3 years ago. He nods. Artificially aged. Now, Bespin's a funny city. Funny as in nobody likes it. You go there to gamble, you always go home broke. It's the city of divorces and the city of trade. But it is the main source of Tabana gas that we have in our system. Powers these hyperdrives. I hadn't seen a planet like it until we were on that gas giant with those little blue shits that fly the fueling vessel in the fleet. Gorkaza's friends. Anyway. Sorry. Nostalgia, I'm just missing home.
Yeah, me too.
You smoke those tiny little cigars?
Yeah, they do the job.
Well, he reaches into his... he's actually wearing overalls, but I don't want you to think like hillbilly overalls.
Yeah.
They're like a factory set of overalls. They have reflector tape and stuff. Almost like a fireproof or fire retardant suit. Obviously not fireproof. He's not wearing a helmet. He's like, at least my body's not burning. But he reaches into his jacket and he pulls out this cigar, smells it, and hands it to you.
I'll get it and I'll smell it and just
it's
inspect
good.
it.
It's fresh. Now nobody gets fresh cigars, not even in the other galaxy.
Yeah. God damn, Jeb, you grow this yourself?
Yep. Most people don't know it, but I'm into the garden variety. Grow my own tobacco. I let it dry. Honestly, just putting it under one of the valves in the engine core tends to dry it out pretty quick. And I make my own paper. Roll it up. Flavor it up. Jebediah's blend.
I'm gonna take a bite out of it and
by the way,
start getting it ready.
Yeah, it kind of tastes like hot. Like chili.
There we go.
And he's like, by the way, it's the spice that makes it nice. Then he starts smoking it.
I'll light mine and start enjoying it.
All right, you start enjoying it. Can I have you make a resilience check against 2 purple, please?
Yeah, let's do that. Purple?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It's funny because when it falls over, it looks like you're falling over. It looks like you're like that guy from Princess Bride.
No!
Ha! Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! It's got a kick to it. There's something in it that makes you feel a little like a head rush, like a tobacco rush, but you're not quite sure what it is.
The hell you put in this thing?
Spice from Kessel.
What is Kessel?
A shitty place you'd never want to go there. And that's where we're going to end part 1 of week 10. Thank you very much for joining me and my crew. And we will be back in just a bit, hopefully with Jonathan. He's on his way home. I told him don't get any speeding tickets. Thank you very much. And from all of our players to you, bye-bye, and tune in for part 2. See ya.